Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Nazi here, and we're back for another video on the first Descendant. And today, guys, I'm going to be showing you guys my best updated build for Viessa. Now, I'm not trying to waste anyone's time, but let's just go ahead and get right into it and talk about her best abilities and best in slot mods. So first things first, let's go ahead and talk about her first build, and this is her Absolute Zero build. Pretty much what Absolute Zero does is when using a skill, Ice Shackle is no longer inflicted. When the skill lands a critical hit, inflicts Frostbite on target. Successfully inflicting Frostbite triggers Ice Spheres. Those are those little ice drones that follow you around and they attack enemies. So pretty much what this build, you want to build straight into high crit and high damage, and that's what this build is. Another thing that Absolute Zero does that we didn't cover is it changes all of our abilities to singular, making it very easy to upscale them and make them do more damage. Our first mod we are going to be running is Increase HP for no other reason, just for more survivability. We also are running Focus on Chill. This increases our chill skill power and gives us more skill cooldown, which is very important on a mobbing build is because we want to be spamming our abilities as much as possible with little to no risk. We're also running Spear and Shield instead of Iron Defense, and the reason for this is it is a skill power buff and not a skill power modifier. We want to build into skill power because skill power is going to give us more benefit than a skill power modifier because she is basically all about skill power. Next, let's go ahead and talk about our next mod right here. We are running Skill Effect Range, which skill expansion. This will pretty much increase our overall range. Now, there is a flex option you could run if you didn't want to run more range and you didn't care to have the base range cooldowns. You could run something like Focus on Singular, which will increase our damage and give us more cooldown, but the sacrifice for less range. Now, with this mod on, I have tested it. It's about 10,000 damage, so it's really not that necessary to have this on. You could run this, but at the same time, it's only 10,000 damage, so you guys got to keep that in consideration. But honestly, if I was going to run this, it wouldn't even be for the damage. It would be mainly for the cooldown. The cooldown is a good and nice little buffer to keep our abilities up 100% of the time. With our base abilities right now, we have a 2.2 second cooldown, and we're pretty much having our limited abilities. The main reason you want cooldown is for your ult. The lower your cooldown is, the more you can spam your ult. And like if we run Focus on Singular here instead of skill expansion, and we go back, we see we go down to 15 seconds from 19. So it is a pretty nice buff in our cooldown, but is it necessary? No. I would rather have the maximized range to be able to hit things from further. Next, we have Skill Insight. This pretty much increases our critical hit rate by 115%. Like I said, we want to be critting as much as possible on this build because if we don't crit, we're not going to get our Ice Spheres to spawn. Next, we're running MP Conversion. This cuts our skill cooldown by 36%. It is such a nice cooldown reduction, and it's really worth it. It's probably one of the best in-slot mods for cooldown reduction. Now, another thing that we're going to run on top of this is Nimble Fingers. This allows us to get even more skill cooldown and make our abilities uptime even faster. The next mod we are running is Emergency Measures. This allows us to get more skill critical hit rate, increases our critical hit damage as well. And we are also running Frontlines for the same thing. This increases our critical hit damage and skill critical hit rate for more critical damage and more critical hit rate. The last mod is kind of like the best mod to run when you're mobbing, and like honest to God, you should always have this on if you're mobbing with a Descendant, and that is MP Collector. When defeating an enemy, instantly recovers 12.2% of our max MP at a 17% chance. And the more enemies we kill, whether it be with our abilities, our guns, or anything, it will increase the chances of us getting mana. So that covers our Absolute Zero mobbing build. So let's go ahead and show you guys how Absolute Zero works inside of you playing. So pretty much what you want to go ahead and do to make this build work efficiently is you're going to use your 2 mainly to run around and just shoot everything. Your 2 is going to give you a fast movement increase, and it also hits enemies if they walk near it or walk on top of it, as shown on top of here. We have our first ability, which is a ice little sphere that shoots out and does damage, and we have that skill expansion to have more range on it. We have our uppercut ability, which is the same as before, and our ult, which is the same as before. So pretty much this build allows us to spray all of our abilities on low cooldowns and have them continuously up and do the most damage they possibly can. This is probably going to be your best bet if you're running into a mobbing intense area where you're running from room to room and you don't really need to have like your ult up all the time because you're not standing still. And this is just going to boost your damage of all your abilities anyway. Alright guys, we're on to the next build, and this is our Hyperthermia build. This allows us to pretty much spam all of our abilities even more, and they will do even more damage. Now this one isn't full out just because I haven't ranked up hyperthermia up enough. I don't have any gold as of right now, so I can't rank this mod up, but once the mod ranks up, we'll tell you what mod you would put it in this slot. First mod we're going to be running is Battle of Stamina. This gives us max HP and skill duration. The next mod we are going to be running is Focus on Chill. This gives us more skill power to our chill abilities and gives us more skill cooldown. The next mod we are running is Skill Effect Range with Skill Expansion. The next one you want to go ahead and put on is going to be Iron Defense. Now I can't put this on because, like I said, my hyperthermia is maxed out, not maxed out, so I can't put this mod on just yet. But once it is maxed out, I will put that on. Frontlines is going to be our next mod we put on. This gives us more skill critical hit damage and more skill critical hit rate. We're also running Nimble Fingers and MP Conversion, the same as last time for that sick cooldown. Skill Insight for the critical hit rate, and Emergency Measures for more critical hit damage and more critical hit rate. And lastly, Skill Simplification. This gives us more skill power and a decrease of max MP. Like I said earlier, hyperthermia is not fully ranked up, so I can't put these two mods on at fully max capacity. So that covers the hyperthermia build, and this allows you to pretty much have unlimited uptime on all your abilities and spam them continuously. Now, one thing that hyperthermia is really good at, and I'll show you right now, is hyperthermia is very, very good at doing continuous damage. If you want a build that just is able to do so much damage and continuous, and not have to worry about anything, this is your build. It allows you to spray your abilities and never have to worry about, like, ever shooting your gun, because you're doing continuous damage. Now, one thing I will say that kind of like sets this bad compared to other abilities is it does not do very good damage. It's kind of subpar damage, but it is ticking so fast that it actually adds up pretty fast. What we're going to go ahead and put on is Battle of Stamina. We want this because it gives us more HP and more skill duration, so we can spray our ult and have it up consistently. We're running Focus and Chill as we were on the other two mods, just for more damage. Skill Expansion for more range. Spear and Shield for more damage and more defense. Skill Insight for that critical hit rate. MP Conversion and Nimble Fingers for that cooldown. Emergency Measures for more critical hit rate and critical hit damage. Frontlines for the same thing. Finally, the last mod you're going to go ahead and put on is Dangerous Ambush. This will allow us to, whenever we land a skill attack, when the enemy is not targeting you, we'll get a skill power buff. And when the enemy is immobilized, if they're knocked or if you're in a boss fight and you stun them, this will give you almost a 50% increase in our overall damage. So let's go ahead and show you guys what this looks like. What you're going to go ahead and do to get this combo going is you're going to pop your 2. This will give you the ability called Cold-Bloodedness, which gives you a 90% cooldown reduction. And you're going to go ahead and pop your ult. This ult is going to be buffed by Cold-Bloodedness, which is going to make it do more damage. Not only that, have less cooldown and cost less to use. And all you're going to do is pretty much just spray these on the boss. And as you see right there, I'm doing 360,000 a hit and critting for 800,000. Now, I just want to point something out too. The reactor I am running is not buffing our tech reactor, just simply because I was using it for my absolute zero. So if we use a tech reactor, we hit for 995,000 damage. And it only gets better because if I had a better tech reactor and this one was, we would be critting for almost 1 million damage a hit. And we're critting at a 46% chance. Now, some things to make this a little bit better for the bossing build. If you want this thing to do the absolute maximum damage, which is possible, you can go ahead and put on a full Slayer set. Now, I usually don't run the full Slayer set just simply because it has less HP. But if you're using her for a bosser and you want to hit high damage numbers and pretty much destroy every boss, you want to be running the full Slayer set. This will give you crits over 1 million and you'll be hitting for 500,000 a hit. But you do have to be careful because of the lower HP. Now, let's go ahead and talk about her external components. What's the best to run on her? What's the best reactors to farm for? And the best weapons to run. So, Thunder Cage is probably going to be your best build for your absolute zero mobbing build and your hypothermia mobbing build, just simply because Thunder Cage is the best mobbing gun in the game, and it's very easy to get. Now you want to get this mounted on your reactor with singular. Now, one thing that I will tell you right now is it's kind of, Viessa is kind of annoying when it comes to reactors, and I'll tell you why. Her Absolute Zero mod changes all of her abilities to singular, so you need to farm a reactor for chill and singular skill power. And if you're running any other substat or any other mod, Transcendent mod, it changes all of her abilities. It doesn't change all of her abilities to singular. So, like, as for instance, hyperthermia, it changes all of her abilities to fusion besides her ult. So, this right here, this reactor would only be good for spamming her ult. And realistically, this build, you're not really using her ult as much as you are her other abilities. So, you would need to go farm another reactor with fusion on it. Unfortunately, I don't have that. So, we're not really even getting the most damage we can on our hyperthermia build. But there that is. And then finally, for our bossing build, it changes all of our abilities again. And we're running a tech, and you want to be buffing tech, so this is why you would run a reactor with tech on it and chill. So pretty much, yeah, that's why reactors are kind of hard to farm for her, because you need like a few different reactors if you're going to use all 3 different builds. Now for her Absolute Zero build, I like to run Thunder Cage Mounting with chill skill power boost and singular skill power boost. Now, one things that would be really good right here to make her abilities even better would be skill cooldown and singular skill boost ratio. Now, in my opinion, what the best reactor would be for me for Absolute Zero would be a reactor with singular skill power boost ratio and singular kill crit rate, because it brings our critical hit rate to 50% and gives us more damage. Now, for her hyperthermia build, I would recommend going for her fusion ability. So you want chill and fusion, and you want a fusion boost, and you want a skill cooldown. Now for her bossing reactor, you want a chill and tech, you want tech boost increase, and skill cooldown or skill critical hit rate. Those are the reactors. Now for the most damage for external components, you just want to run the Slayer set. If you want good damage but good survivability, run 2 of the Polar 9 sets with 2 of the Annihilation sets. That'll give you good survivability and good damage. So that's going to wrap up the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Now, I do have an Ultimate Bunny video that's going to be coming out tomorrow. And if you guys would like to see more content, whether it be the First Descendant or any other games, I will be streaming the First Descendant pretty much every single day of me grinding for new builds over on my Twitch. So if you guys would like to see that, go ahead and stop by there. I pretty much will be grinding the game pretty much every single day. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.